What's up, you guys? I'm Jake Adams, and today I have a very special video. I know a lot of my videos are special, but this one's a little extra because I am in Tustin in Orange County, California, and just about 10 years ago was the first time that I ever came to California, and I came here to build a fish store for my good friend Ali of Amazing Aquariums and Reefs. And now it's been 10 years and he's at a new location, and everybody in the Southern California reef scene, they know that Ali's store is just a gallery of beautiful, beautiful reef aquarium life. Ali has a really special touch when it comes to neat fish, and especially an eye for corals. So man, I really can't wait to show you the store. So let's go inside and see all the crazy beautiful displays. Right when you walk in, there is no question that you are basically standing in a gallery masterpiece of reef aquarium life, corals, and presentation. And one thing that's really different about this shop is that Ali has done an amazing job of just creating a beautiful ambiance in here. You can see all this open space really helps you to enjoy all these displays. And there he is, there's the man, Ali himself.
What's different is me, I'm a weirdo. That's the difference.
Ali, what's up, man?
What's up, bro?
How are you doing? That is quite an entrance you made.
Yeah.
So before we dive into the displays, man, you've had this shop for 10 years. I get the feeling that most people set up an aquarium store to make money, but I think you're motivated very differently.
I don't care about money.
You want to make money so you can have an aquarium store.
Yes.
This store is less of a place to buy and sell corals and more of a place for you to have all your displays and just share reef culture with people, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So tell me, what has it been like? Because you were a diehard reefer for so long,
yeah,
and now you've had a store for 10 years.
Yeah,
What's that like?
You used to talk about rare corals many years ago, trading corals with each other and all this cool stuff before it was even mainstream or anything. I'm just still a hobbyist. I like all the corals, I like all the weird fish, and I like helping other people set up tanks and work out their problems or issues they're having with their current tanks. I don't really try to force things on people. I just show them how to get good results from my own tanks, and they could try to replicate that. And I don't try to oversell or do anything like that. I don't even carry a lot of dry goods and stuff like that.
Very limited collection of
stuff
dry
that
goods.
actually works and people could use and need.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to have you walk around, show us some tanks, and point out a few different animals.
So this is a nice little 24 inch by 24 inch shallow cube tank. There's a nice little blue Tang in here who is kind of an oddball. He was born like that. I've had him for a couple years now.
I remember when you first got him, he was just so small, like a little question mark.
Right.
He's actually grown a lot bigger than we would have thought.
Yeah, he's been doing good. He was a little bully when I put him in there. He was a tough little fish, and he's still the king of the tank.
What size is this tank, and how are you running it?
It's a 24 inch by 24 inch shallow cube. I'm running it, actually, it's tied into the aquarium next to it, which is
the main display?
One of the, a bigger display, yeah. And down below in the sump, I have just the skimmer and then the return pump. I also dose this tank. I just dose B-Ionic, and that's about it.
So you dose B-Ionic 2-part. Do you supplement with that with anything?
Once in a while, I'll do Acro Powered.
Okay.
I kind of forget a lot of the times and just forget to dose it, but that's basically B-Ionic 2-part is the main thing I dose.
Okay. And what's the lights on here? Over here it's Hydra 26, right?
Yes, that's a Hydra 26. Nice coverage on this tank with that.
And on this side, looks like you have a little, like a mishmash, a little bit of everything.
Well, it's a Hamilton Cebu system, which is basically 2 metal halides and 4 T5 bulbs. And I also have a Reef Bright LED XHO just for a little more pop to the tank.
Right.
And I really like this light a lot. It's a real natural light. I mean, not as natural as
I think everybody's gonna love.
But it's a nice pleasing to the eye. Like,
everybody's gonna love this display with just the fields of staghorn. Here, trying to catch an angle where it don't get a reflection. There we go. We can see a real good look at the lights and all the staghorn, and you just have tons of green slimer inside.
yeah, with stony corals, I don't like having tanks with, you know, more than, let's say, 6 or 7 different species in a particular tank. I like to let those colonies get to a decent size and just give it a more natural feel instead of having, you know, 30 to 50 different smaller pieces all over the place that could potentially run into each other and sting each other. Oh, this is my absolute favorite thing in the hobby is this thing.
Yeah, there's 2 giganteas right there?
Yeah, there's 2. It's pronounced gigantea.
Gigantea.
Not J. There's no J.
So tell us about that anemone right there. Why is it special? Why you love it? And you're the first guy I ever knew that loved gigantea.
Oh yeah, I love them. They're my favorite, absolute favorite thing, especially with a nice pair of true Hercules in there. I don't think there's anything like it. It's just so pleasing to the eye. The nice green with the orange and the black and the white. Such a nice contrast.
So
and it looks so
beautiful.
lush, you know? You
Yeah,
want to just squish yourself in there and roll around.
Especially with those long tentacles. It's
Absolutely,
so different from
yeah.
just like a small beaded carpet anemone.
Yeah, absolutely. My favorite thing.
Okay, so you have a nano over here in the corner that's got a ton of Recordia.
Yeah,
Tell me about this tank. It's a Red Sea Nano, right?
Yeah, the Red Sea Max Nano. I really like this tank. You know, there's nothing underneath in the stand. It's just the basic stand, and everything else is built into the back, where you have your freshwater top off here. It's just a container with a float valve, and then your protein skimmer, and then there's just a simple filter stock in the back that I've never replaced. And yeah, mainly a Recordia theme with some cool little St. Thomas Rhodactis down there. Really nice Dorasa clam. I don't know if you could capture it in the video, but it has a lot of blue on it.
Yeah, I can see it in real life. It's pretty.
And then you have the Japanese.
Oh, you do have a piece of the
Nephthia.
You do have the piece of the pink soft corals from Japan. Very cool. I got one too. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, one of my favorites too.
This is a cute little display. Some of this stuff is for sale, right?
Well, most of the corals are for sale. The bigger colonies I'll do fragments off of. Unless someone really wants a giant piece, if they can fit it in their tank, I might.
So yeah, like the Setosa, this is a mother that you can just chip off little pieces. Very cool. And still got Recordias tucked in everywhere. There's some of those leather corals we talked about. And then tell us about the $sign clownfish.
Yeah, I've had that. I've had her for a couple years now, maybe longer, maybe 3 or 4 years actually.
And
really cool clownfish. Got it it came from the Solomon Islands.
And you swear it's wild.
100% wild.
That's so crazy.
100%
it
wild.
really just looks like a Picasso clownfish.
Yeah.
So man, you have so many corals like tucked up all up in this tank, and it's kind of easy to overlook them, but like right here, this just from a distance, this doesn't even look normal. This doesn't even look right. That's actually a Turbinaria with like uber long polyps, almost like an Alveopora or a Gonipora. That's so crazy. Then you got a variety of Euphyllias.
I'm a big fan of these Euphyllias here, these frog spawns, where they're branching. So they have the color of the egg or the wall frog spawns, that crystal green color.
Right.
But this is a branching morph, and it's really cool because this is the mother colony here. And I've made several big frags off of this over the last 8 or 9 years.
So yeah, branching frog spawn is very common. But the frog spawn that most people want is that bright green crystal, which is usually, like you said, like a solitary polyp. But this is a branching variety.
Right.
Super duper cool. And all right, now that we're on this tank, so many Palithoas. I was joking last night that I think there's enough Palithoa grandis here to like kill a whole block of people. If you don't know, these guys are so toxic.
Yeah, I love the Palithoa grandis. It's always been one of my all-time favorite corals. It's not a coral that gets exported, too often. And these are all very, very old colonies that I've had for a long time.
Yeah, you can tell by the size of the polyps, and it's just so cool how many varieties you've got. But I do notice like a lot of your tanks are kind of shallow. You really like those shallow style tanks, huh?
Yeah, shallow and wide. I like to focus on the surface area. You could do better aquascaping on them. Not a big fan of tall, narrow tanks. I think they give you more of an island feel. If that makes any sense. I don't know.
And I noticed, you have an even mix of LEDs, metal halides, T5s. Are any of them your favorite, or how do you determine which light to use?
My favorites are probably going to be a mix of halides and T5s, maybe some 20K radiums with some blue plus T5s or something. I like these new Hydra 26s a lot, and just the Radion, the Generation 4 Radions are awesome lights. You could grow corals nicely with them. The T5s are always good. You just have to make sure to have the right spectrum of T5 bulbs so you don't burn corals.
Yeah, you still have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Same with the LEDs. You don't want to put, kick the UV way up and burn corals. You gotta.
I mean, I love a lot of stuff about your shop, but one of the things I do love is you have an appreciation for like all kinds of corals. You've got this exceptional collection of like these long polyp style leathers, and they're in every single tank. How did you develop a love for the the really happy, healthy, especially long polyp leather corals?
I've always liked full, fluffy, healthy corals.
Right.
I've never been a big fan of a little tiny fragment in the tank and keeping that frag forever and waiting for it to grow. Now, like a sarcophyte like that, it grows fast, so I don't mind getting a frag of that, and in 6 months I already have a nice chunky little cute colony.
So last but not least, I know I love saying that, you have this interesting kind of a triple display, and it's almost like a cascading effect from this large community reef tank here to a little bit more of an open tank with a handful of fish, and then the shallowest carpet anemone display I think I've ever seen. But I don't know, for me, man, what really ties us together is this huge, by aquarium standards, mangrove tree. How long have you been growing that mangrove?
About 6 or 7 years. Got them as little, what are they called, pods or something?
Yeah. Very cool, yeah, and so in the daytime, there's a lot of light that floods in from those windows, and it's really bright in here. Do you miss this mangrove at all? Do you do anything special for it?
For the first 6 years, I didn't mist it, and just within the last year or so, I've been misting it maybe once every couple weeks or whatever, not very casually.
Yeah. Do you notice a little bit of perking up from the tree at all?
Maybe I do. Maybe it's gone on a little growth spurt.
Because it looks really lush right now. I think that misting will help. And so yeah, are these all on one system?
Yeah, these are all connected to one sump underneath, and the sump is basically just a protein skimmer, and I dose this system with Bionic, and I have my dosing pump, and that's it. Just a couple power heads in the tanks.
So on this side we've got a Kessel, and here we've got a single metal halide. What?
250 watt, 20K radium bulb in here. I might upgrade this and maybe put a Hydra 52 or Radion G4. Haven't done it yet, but I might do it.
And then what's inside of this tank?
This one's also a metal halide and T5 mix, the same Hamilton Cebu fixture. Love it.
What are some of the things that are peculiar or particular about this system?
These Melon Opus Clownfish are really cool in this tank right here.
So the South Pacific form of the Melon Opus, the orange with the black spot, right. So bright, and those only come from Vanuatu, right?
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Is it? Can we see the filter system real quick?
Sure.
So this is everything that's running those 3 tanks?
Yeah, this is everything. That's actually a Kalkwasser reactor there, but I don't think I've added Kalkwasser powder to it in like, a year or whatever. Cool. So I need to get on that. I've been lazy.
And you've got an ATB skimmer?
ATB skimmer. The pump is different.
The pump doesn't look right.
No, it was just the pump went out a long time ago, and that's just a random replacement pump. It's making bubbles.
It's making bubbles. It's doing some job.
The sump is really dirty, as you can see. I've never shop vac this or cleaned this.
That's okay. I mean, it looks like just like a fine layer of sand, and then you're using a Bubble Magus dosing pump just for Bionic.
Bionic, that's it.
Very cool, man. Awesome. What a great presentation of tanks. Okay, Ali, so real talk. You're an aquarium professional. You've been doing this for 10 years. What are some of the most common problems or mistakes that people make, especially the really avoidable ones?
Some of the stuff we talked about already. Too much live rock in a tank, too much flow from your sump to your tank, overkilling all this stuff, man. It's not that difficult. Keep it simple. Just a protein skimmer down below. Some tanks don't even have the skimmer. Just the protein skimmer down below. decent water current inside the tank, but achieve that with a simple power head, something that's low energy, that's not going to heat up the water. I don't even rely on phosphate reactors or anything like that, or carbon or anything. Just use good quality RODI salt water and fresh water for your top off. Don't overdo the fish. Either have a fish tank with a bunch of fish, or just do a nice reef tank with a few small, medium-sized fish. And it's hard. It takes discipline. I have that issue where I keep adding fish to certain tanks where I always promise myself I'm not going to do it, but the other thing is probably just having too many corals in a tank, too many of different species in one tank.
Yeah, and that's some real, keep it simple, stupid wisdom.
I enjoy this and I love this. I definitely don't want to be burnt out on it, and this is my business. This is something I like to run it this way. I like to run it kind of low profile, and you have your regulars that come in and you get to know them. You get to. A lot of my customers are actually they're friends.
I would say, so we started shooting early this morning, and the moment the doors open, like, people were in because they know you have a small window. It seemed like everybody who came to the door today was a regular.
Oh yeah.
It just seemed like everybody, you were on first name basis. You're asking them how their family's doing, how their tank's doing, specific fish. So very cool, man. Well, I am so happy that you've been successful for 10 years. It was an honor to be part of that.
Oh yeah, Jake came out and you helped me so much when we first started this up. We had a lot of fun. We were 10 years younger back then, and we were doing stupid stuff. But it's so nice to have you here, and thanks a lot.
Very cool. Well, hopefully this will be framed up properly. So thanks, my buddy Ali. Thanks for having us at the shop. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe because we have a lot more reef goodness like this on the way. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Thanks a lot, guys.